Hey everyone, hope you're having an amazing day. It's RsSavage, and today I'm going to reveal my entire bank, including a loot tab worth over 20 bill. It's been about 2 years since I've made my last bank video, so as you can imagine, a lot has changed. There is an assortment of new gear I've acquired and different organizational strategies as well that I thought you guys might like to see. Then my loot tab is also something that I've been saving for about 6 months now, I would say. But I think it's time to sell everything and purchase something special. If you guys are new to the channel, I do stream often here on YouTube as well on Twitch, so make sure to follow me on there and turn on your notifications to never miss the streams. But anyways, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button for more content like this. And without further ado, let's get into the video. Alright, I'm very excited to jump into the bank and show you guys the loot tab and talk through some stuff. But first, I do want to mention that I'll be doing a 10,000 Elder Trove opening in this video from all the Arc Glacier kills I've done between my main and alt account. So stay tuned for that. I also will be showing off my wealth evaluator at the end, which I think will be pretty cool to look at down the road. But yeah, let's jump into the bank and check out the very top, where I do have some items related to it, is none other than Zamorak, because I'm there often and it is convenient to have these at the top. But you will also see I sometimes have other kind of random items that might get sorted out into some different tabs later down the line. But yeah, I do have these rerolls sitting here also from Arc Glacier. I've used quite a few and have gotten some drops from them, so they've been amazing. And then I have some lucky charms here, which you can purchase with dungeoneering tokens. And if you kill the witches at the start of the fight, you actually have a chance to get some better drops from them, such as like the slivers that you can then make the enchantments out of and get some good money. So those are always great to carry with you if you do have the inventory space. Here is one of my main gear tabs, and I do have another important gear tab after this, but they are separated just because I had the space to do so. But if I do need a tab for something else in the future, I'll be sure to combine these two. But at least for now, this one I will be hovering over the tops and bottoms for each set just to show you guys what perks I have on them. And I can also kind of explain the reasoning behind everything. But first, we do have some trimmed masterwork, which I used to use way back in the day. And then we have some Cripploom as well, and you can see a lot of my armor is level 20 just because how much I use everything. And level 20 is also good to have just because you get like a 10% increased chance to activate some of the perks. And then for like biting, you also get a little bit of a benefit, which is nice. Then we have Elite Dracolich here, which is one of my favorite armor sets. The effect is just so amazing with rapid fire and pairing that crit chance increase with the Saren Godbow spec, and it just works absolutely phenomenal at a boss like Zamorak that you can get so many hits off. And then we have the tier 95 Necromancy set, which I've been using a lot at Telos, and this allowed me to get 4k in Rage along with a 200 kill streak, which I was very proud about. And then we have the tier 90 Necromancy tank set right here, which I have some different perks compared to my tier 90 Necromancy power set over here, because the bottoms I would use for Telos, and they have the perks like turtling along with clear-headed on them. And then for the top, I was thinking of using it maybe for like some Slayer or something, or maybe, you know, some other AFK combat. So I got scavenging on there as well. Then we have Vestments, which is my go-to melee set, and you'll notice I do have the mobile perk on this armor now, unlike in the past, because they made it so that when you use the barge ability and you have the mobile perk, you will actually still gain adrenaline, whereas previously if you used the barge ability and you had the mobile perk, you would not gain adrenaline. And this may not seem like a huge deal to some of you, but I definitely noticed the difference and would never like to have the mobile perk on my melee gear. But you know, that also caused some other problems, as you could imagine, not having access to mobile as frequently. I have some more trimmed masterwork, which I really never touch, but this was for some melee Telos back in the day, and also some Slayer. Then we have the Sliske set, and if you guys are not familiar with this one, it's basically a hybrid set where you can select an effect for it. And one of the effects you can use is from an armor set, which each piece of the armor set gives you a 1% increased crit chance. And that set has 6 pieces to it, so if you wear this Sliske set, you can get a 6% increased crit chance, which is quite nice, and it makes it even better in some ways to use this set over Tectonic, believe it or not. But honestly, the difference isn't, you know, very major, so I wouldn't worry about it unless you're really trying to optimize your kills. Then we have some Elite Sterenic, which I don't think I've used this since I've purchased my Elite Draclich set. Maybe it could be useful in the future though. And then going back, I do have a Necromancy flanking switch here, which I'm often using at AOD. We got the Master Spear of Annihilation, the Inquisitor Staff, and you'll notice I also do have all the enchantments on everything. And I pretty much have a best in slot besides just a few weapons that I know I would never use. I do have a chroming switch for magic. We got the Noxious Scythe, we got the Langs, we got the Scourge, Tier 90 Defender, which I also haven't really used much recently because I'm often using a Spirit Shield or I'm just using Greater Bone Shield pretty much. We got some Tier 95 Necromancy weapons, a physical ECB, Appraisals, Blights, and I haven't even really used those crossbows either now that I think about it in a long time, which is unfortunate since they look pretty sick with that Aurora die on them. We got the Bow of the Last Guardian, a physical ETK, a ZGS, which does not have perks because when I do use this, it's just for a spec switch, and I honestly don't really know if it fits in the meta for melee, but it is really fun to use nevertheless. And lastly, I do have the Fractured Staff of Armadyl here. But yeah, that's all of my armor and weapons, and there are quite a few things that are Aurora dies, as you can probably already see in here. And I also got that one Shadow Dyed Scythe. One other thing I did want to circle back on and talk about was my physical ECB and ETK. I get asked often about these as to the reason why I have physical ones when it is best to have them in EOFs. And to answer that, I do have both of these weapons in an EOF, but having physical ones can provide some benefits. So the physical ECB is great because I've been using it as something part of my melee setup, believe it or not. So normally I'll have my Vestments armor on while using melee, and what I'll do is swap to the physical ECB to use a Gricko with Hydrix bolts specifically. And these bolts, if you're unfamiliar, will essentially give you access to a lot of adrenaline, which is nice. And I'll also try to use the ingenuity of the human's ability to gain 100% accuracy on that Gricko, even though I am wearing melee armor. And while using this ranged weapon with melee armor, I would say it's still pretty good at damage, which is kind of crazy. And even if you don't have the ingenuity of the human's ability, this strategy is honestly probably still worth using because now with the way accuracy works, you're never going to hit for absolutely nothing and waste a global cooldown on that Gricko and get nothing in return. Then as for the EZK, this would be pretty much your best option if you're doing a two-hand auto, a Meteor Strike, Hurricane, or Quake. But yeah, you just get a little bit better damage because this is a tier 95 over, a tier 92 ZGS, for example. But with the cost, it doesn't really make too much sense unless you really have the funds to, go towards something like that. But yeah, I just wanted to point these out and explain why there are some niche reasons for having them. This is my other crucial gear tab, and you can find my scriptures in this one. We got the Grim, the Full, the When, and the Jazz, and you can see all of these full pages I did buy, but all the When pages I obtained myself at Glacier, so we will include that in the loot tab. So I've been saving those for quite a while. That is a lot right there. You can see the examine on them, and of course we have no Grim pages because this Grim is always eating those up at Zamorak. But other than that, we do have some essences of finality. I just picked up another one pretty recently, so now it looks like we have 10 of these. So we can go down the line and you can see they all have the kit on them as well, which really isn't necessary. It only gives an extra 3 damage bonus per style, and I think it costs just under like 100 mil. So I guess if you have the money, why not? But there is also another caveat that's pretty annoying because I actually have more EOFs than there are colors. So what happens is, for example, with these red ones, if I have a preset that's using the Saradomin bow, it's actually to pull out this EOF that comes first, which is quite annoying. And what I've had to do is actually split the kit and take it off, then make it work a little bit better with the presets. But it is a little bit annoying to have some EOFs with the kit and not with the kit. It just makes the bank look, I guess, a little bit not as clean in my opinion. But yeah, that's how that is for me. I can't go through what I have in these EOFs. So Necromancy, I believe, is the Death Guard, that's the only one for that. And then I have the Dark Bow for ranged, Armadyl Battle Staff for magic, Saren God Bow for range, Eldritch Crossbow for range, Zamorak Bow for range, Saradomin Bow for range, Zamorak Staff for magic, Easy K for melee, and the Stadius Warhammer for melee. And then we do have some quivers here as well, which are absolutely amazing. We got the different boots from Raksha, a bunch of different gloves that I honestly kind of haven't used some of these in a little bit now that I'm looking at it. Also the rings, I haven't really used the Champion's ring, but I do have like all the enchantments you can see, which I decided it is a pretty good idea to get some of those enchantments, because in case down the line they do become useful. I thought, you know, they could go up in price quite a bit, so how would I just get those now and kind of just feel completed as well with, you know, the best in slot grind. Next up here is my potion tab, which I seem to change up a little bit every now and then, but this one actually has stuck the way it's been for a little bit now. And you can see I also do have some, you know, food and other supplies that kind of just fit nice in here. And it's worked pretty well for me. And I do have all of the full potions as well as the other sizes that are easy to decant. I also do have some potions that I really don't use often, like the Holy Overloads, but I don't want to just get rid of them. I did make a while back when, you know, I didn't have as much money to just always use the Elder Overload salves. That's why I have those. Maybe I could be using them for like Slayer, but I also don't really have any goals to train Slayer. So yeah, I've been kind of just sitting on a lot of those along with the Staring Overloads. Like these were made quite a while ago, so yeah, I don't really know what the plan is with those. I haven't really used the aggression potions either, but those are always nice to have. I've also kind of transitioned into using the super Saradomin brews over the normal ones because they do heal more, and at Zamorak I do make the money back to pretty much have that, you know, make sense to do. But yeah, there's not much else to this, and we will move on to the next one. Here is my summoning tab, where I do have these three familiars that I've been using the most, being the Calgarian Demon, the Ripper Demon, and the Blood Reaver. I also do have like the Bloodhound and the Pack Mammoth, along with some Nihils for each style, which I do seem to use every now and then at some bosses that do require the accuracy for it. And I do have a large collection of charms from all the Art Glacier that has been pretty cool to have it stack up. But I also have been making the Charming Imp destroy the charms, because the witches at Zamorak actually do drop charms, and it's been a bit annoying if I have like an open inventory slot when I'm switching between like a magic two-hand and dual wield, and they pop up in my inventory and then prevent me from switching weapons. So I kind of haven't been stacking up the charms recently, but yeah, the collection's not looking too bad, I'd say. Next up is my invention tab, and there obviously isn't too much here, but I just like to have it to separate it from the rest of the things. I just got the gizmo bag, filled it with some of my failed attempts for some expensive perks, but decided I should just keep them because I guess I'll never use them, but I'll just know how much money I lost going for certain perks. And then we also just have some extra gizmo shells ready to be used. Some separators are always good to have, and potion reservoirs for AFK. Tons of dummies that I made recently. We got the divine charges and some whetstones, which kind of don't fit in here, but they just seem to kind of match the aesthetic, so we kind of just threw those in there for now. This is my Slayer tab, where I guess I do kind of have some random stuff over here at the beginnings, like some Dreadnips. I didn't even know where to really put those, and then the Chinchampas, I guess you can kind of consider that like the AoE Slayer stuff, and then some other useful stuff that I don't necessarily use it only for Slayer, but kind of just fit here, and I left it. And then I do like these cannons, they are pretty sweet. And then I did also get, I believe, all the masks because the double XP token store, I believe, had these in them, and I managed to get them all. And I also just recently got some of these Spirits of Battle from Treasure Hunter, so that'll be nice if I do ever need to use the mask. Next up here is a little cape tab, and this could definitely probably be combined with some other stuff. But yeah, we just got some of the capes, and I think honestly it is kind of convenient to have some of these capes over here in a separate tab, so I can kind of find them a bit easier, because I don't have them in presets, but I guess every now and then I do need them. And then I just have a load of Vexes that my clan has graciously given me. This is my skilling outfit tab, which I really haven't used much since I've hit 120 all, but I know the last time I went in here was for when I tried out a little bit of Corrosis, which I don't do often, but I guess in the future this would obviously be great to have. It is, I guess, a little bit annoying to have to like reclaim the outfits, but yeah, I mean, I do have the bank space, so that is not an issue. I guess if I do need a tab for something else, this is definitely probably one that will be the first to go. Next up here is my skilling tab, and for some reason this one has always just been pretty satisfying to look at. I don't know if it's the same for you guys, but I kind of just love looking at all like the proteins, and these skilling like tools always seemed pretty cool. I guess it was also just the fact that they were a grind to get, I feel like, and yeah, it's just kind of cool to look at them all. So, you know, you got the archaeology one, the mining, you know, the wood cutting, and then I also just recently bought some of these extra ones for whenever I do Corrosis, so those will help out a bit. And then my everlasting fishing grind, I remember this fishing rod-o-matic, that one is legendary. And then I did do a bit of divination, some extra stuff for hunter, and then just a whole bunch of stuff that I've had, I feel like, a lot of good memories with. I've spent a lot of time skilling, even though I wouldn't really consider myself a skiller. But yeah, I also do stack up a lot of proteins for when double XPs come around, and I tend to use those all during that. And then that's also the kind of the same thing with the dummies. And I also store a lot of the pulse cores and cinder cores in here. I got, you know, a stack of harmonic dust. That seems like quite a bit right there that I didn't need. Also like Viswax, and the do have a large amount of monthly reset tokens, so that'll be good for the oyster. I've been trying to collect a lot of the crystal tree blossoms as well, as much as I can. It looks like I do have an extra money tree seed in here, so I could get something out of that. And then I do have a lot of corrupted ore for my 120 mining grind, and then I can also make another blessed flask if I ever do so wish. So that's just there just in case. But yeah, this one is pretty cool. This one is sort of a random tab, you can say. It does have, let's see, my Slayer Codex, the Captain's Log. This is like for ports. The Arc Journal, I would use this to, I guess, collect like my daily supplies to go on voyages. And then the Menaphos Journal, I haven't really used that much at all. And then the Grim Gem does get used, but that's in like a preset. The Clue Carrier, I guess, kind of every now and then I'll have one that I want to deposit in there. Totem Bag doesn't really get used often. Statue and Skull Cape Shard Bag, they don't get used too often. I got some island maps. Yeah, the Court Summons. One thing with this, if you guys didn't know, if you destroy it, you'll just like keep getting another one. So I made sure to just keep it so I don't get another one. I forget what actually gives these, but I know it was kind of annoying, so I just made sure to keep it. Same thing with this blue map, so that could also be something for you guys to remember. There's also just some balloons, I guess, and snowballs, which were kind of cool. There's Wicked outfit for like the rune crafting and whatnot, and then a whole load of Triskelion keys from all the Arclaysor I've done. So maybe one day I will have to go and use all those. And I know there is also one of the treasure hunter scrolls, the clue scrolls that you'll get from that. So yeah, I'm gonna have to, I guess, use all of them and then finish the clue scrolls, and then hopefully make a good amount of money. That would be the goal with that one. Next up here is my quest/random tab. You can see I do have some quest items that I thought would be kind of beneficial to hold on to, and then maybe if I missed anything, I mean, they're pretty easy to get back for the most part. And then I also just have some random items. You got like a pogo stick, Lily of the Valley, and then some hats, some placeholders, and also some like treasure hunter tokens that maybe in the future I can accumulate more when the events come back around, and then, you know, collect all those rewards. Here is my archaeology tab, where there really isn't much to it ever since I've gotten rid of all my artifacts and put them into the proper collections. that cleared out quite a few bank spaces. And I honestly can't believe there isn't some sort of storage system that you could put in, you know, the damaged and restored artifacts. That would definitely help a lot of people out. But yeah, for now, this is just the way it sits. I do have a bunch of tantric compasses that can probably get done, potentially make a lot of money from that. But yeah, I don't really have any plans to do anything else with this tab. I could potentially combine it with another tab if I do want to change up the bank a little bit. But yeah, we'll probably save that for another day. And here is the juicy 20 bill plus loot tab that I've been saving for over 6 months now. I'm so proud to present this masterpiece. All the Zamorak I've done and the 200 kill streak at Telos. You can see I got this Saren God bow I made from scratch, along with 2 Zeros God swords, along with some extra common loot that was pretty expensive that I decided to save for this big price check. Some other notable things are this 4.6 mil stack of Wen Anima. We got a lot of Elder Troves, along with some others that I have on my alt account, but I'll show you guys the loot I got from that. There's just a load of salvage. I mean, look at the Onyx Dust, the Hydrix Bolts, the Onyx Bolts, the Onyxes, the Relics. Also out some of those along the way, but we still have a pretty big chunk. You can just see all the stacks of like 100k plus are just so cool to look at. And I don't know about you guys, but one of my favorite things to do with the loot tab is to just try to get the highest price inventory that I could possibly come up with. So let me try to get that going for you guys. All right, I just got together what I thought to be the most expensive price check I could get. So here we go, let's check it out. And we have a close to 23 bill. This also does not include the rare relics and the elder troves. Since those were untradeable, they would not actually go into the price check window. But yeah, that is absolutely incredible. I don't know how I'm supposed to top this. It was pretty much kind of my thing to, you know, do this with the price check, and then the next loot tab I would kind of, you know, go for about the same amount or even push for, you know, a bigger amount. But man, this is going to be tough to beat. All right, the next thing to do is to check out the wealth evaluator. So here goes nothing. The total is 74.5 bill, and that is absolutely insane. I'm very proud of that. But yeah, let's now dive deeper into the tabs. Specifically, you guys can check out some of these. Looks like that main gear tab is about 18.5 bill. And then, you know, we got the one with all the EOFs in it next that doesn't consider all the EOF stuff and the items that I dumped in and the price that I bought those items for at the time. It was pretty unreal. A lot of the items have dropped a lot. But moving on to the loot tab, we can see it's about 23.7 bill, and that also doesn't consider what's inside those elder troves, which should even bump it closer to 24 bill, which is absolutely insane. Here is a little breakdown of all the tier 3 Wen elder troves I've opened. Here on the left is my main account, and on the right is my alt account. You can see a price check for both batches, as well as the inventories as well, to get a little bit of an idea of what types of items you can get from these troves in case you want to camp Arc Glacier normal mode like myself. We can see with just over 12,000 elder troves, we made about 1.44 bill, which comes out to 117k for each trove. Now I think it's time to sell off the loot. Now, you guys may have heard me on stream talk about what types of things I was thinking about saving for when selling such a loot tab like this. And you know, you got all the dyes to choose from. We just had some new weapons that came out. We got all of the like Santa hats, Halloween masks, or even a party hat. Well, I think I've made my decision, so how about we check it out? And there we go. I now have 44 bill in my coin pouch, which is the most I've ever had. But now it's time to check out the yellow party hat, and is this enough to actually get one? I thought putting a buy offer in the GE would be the smartest thing to do. Let it sit there for a bit. We didn't get it at first, so I had to resort to some other options. After some negotiating, I met up with someone at the grain exchange ready to buy my first ever party hat for 40.5 bill, which I know is an insane amount of money. I saw just a few months ago this thing was selling for about 30 bill, so it would have been quite nice to save about 10 bill buying it just a few months earlier, but I just couldn't get the funds together. But I just kept pushing through those Zamorak kills, which is where I made the majority of my money to make such a big purchase like this. So shout out to anyone who's ever done a Zamorak kill with me and has split those drops. All of it has finally been put to this crazy purchase. I never thought it would have ever been possible, but here I am. Well, that's all I have for you guys in this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you did enjoy. I know it's been a minute since I posted a video, so I hope this one was worth the wait. And now I do have a yellow party hat, but I think the blue might look a little better with my outfit. Huh, guess that only means one thing. Make sure to follow me on Twitch and join my Discord if you haven't already. But anyways, I want to give a big thank you to my channel members. Your support is greatly appreciated. But other than that, I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Make sure to turn on your notifications to never miss a new stream or video. Also hit that like and subscribe button for me, and I'll see you in the next one.